Hey, I'm Chris, gimbal operator since 2012, 10 years running now. Done a lot of gimbal operating, and I wanted to run through what's in my on-set kit, which is this guy, Pelican 1560. I used to have a smaller 1510, it just didn't cut it after a while. So yeah, let's open this thing up and see kind of what my go-to things are to have close by, and see what tools have gotten me through 10 years of this awesome job. So I'm gonna start with tools. These are my favorites. PB Swiss as a brand in general. These are their Allen keys. PB Swiss Allen keys, they're color coded, so I always know when I want my 4mm to grab the yellow one, the green one's the 2.5. So can't recommend these enough. If you have normal steel Allen keys, it's awesome. Got this set up here, Wera tools, everything you need, really high quality company. We have some more PB Swiss, their big old flathead screwdriver, good for big camera screws. Of course, more PB Swiss star keys, also color coded. Oh, these are good scissors. These Olfas, O-L-F-A, they're like super rigid. They're kind of covered in muck from Velcro right now, but these will cut through just about anything. One of these. Robo grips, also a key tool. The rubber things fell off of them, but these are great for grabbing things that are stuck in threads or whatever. More PB Swiss. This is a multi-tool from them, so all the bits store in the back, and it's just magnets to the top. Great to have instead of a bunch of different screwdrivers. Let's see. Oh, another pair of scissors. These are non-stick, so they have like a Teflon coating. These are Fiskars. Another wrench, because sometimes you gotta do this. Bike pump, that's mainly for the vests I have, for the bladders in the back. The anti-gravity, the slingshot, and then the G-Link, the X spine. That one I added my own bladder, but still you need one of these. Two multi-tools, you don't really need two, but sometimes it's nice to have one with a file in it in case you gotta take down some burrs or something. X-Acto knife or whatever. You get a package on the camera truck, open it up. A third wrench. I could probably lose one of these. So then a couple things made it into the tool pocket. These are actually tilt extensions from Cinemilled that I drill into, send a rod out, and then I use that for accessory mounting. So in this configuration, this would have come off the Ronin, and then I would have the Preston stuck back here, and then I can kind of swing it up out of the way to balance the camera or whatever, and I don't have to stick everything to the actual camera body. Okay, so that's tools. We can move on to plates. I basically exclusively Ignite Digi, so these are their top plates. This is the bottom plate. This is a custom one they made me for Obi-Wan. This one has Darth Vader engraved into it. Oh, you can see that. Got a stock Ronin top plate, also sometimes handy when you just don't have enough space. Bottom plate, this is more for like going from Ronin to studio. You just have some threadings here that you can rig to something instead of swapping the whole base plate out. The Movi to Ronin top adapter from Ignite. So all their plates come with a Movi rail, and you just take this and that adapts it to Ronin, and it gives you actually some extra space in between the top crossbar and the camera, and that's good for cables or even accessories sometimes. That's a good one to have. Another bottom plate. Oh, forgot to mention this rod bracket. This is something I actually make. It's super rigid, so you don't get that the rod flex when you calibrate your motors. And I have a larger set screw in there for tightening that's not going to strip out. And these are compatible with Ignite, Movi plates, DJI plates, Cinemilled plates, just different holes and different screws. So these are available. Also, I'll put the link for that on Blackbird, my company website. Here's using that same rod bracket as kind of a dog bone to extend a rod off of another rod. Another one, I just have tons of these in my kit, always useful. Another tilt extension. Here's the Ignite version, really lightweight, so if you're doing drone stuff, definitely it's probably the one to go with. They just go on the end like that. Those are the camera plates, and I have a couple side plates that I use for accessory mounting. Here's a 3D printed prototype, and then these are actually Tilta plates, and they come with the Alexa Mini battery plate kit. So these came with a Dionic mounted to the side, and I pulled that off, pulled all the electronics off, and I just used the plate. So it's kind of an expensive way to do that, but I just find these to be really rigid and well made. So there's cheaper options out there from Ignite Digi, but this is kind of what I've found to work really well. Here we have another product I make that I swear by, the Sparrow Clamps. So these go on the sides of the Ronin. You bolt them in and it gives you your handles. And then with these, there's also threaded at the end. There's a thread here for your monitor arm. So I'll put those off the Ronin. So here are the extension handles. You can also get these on my website. They extend way out, collapse down, and these interface with the Sparrow Clamps. So you end up having the Ronin here, and you have your support rig from above. Also, there's hooks available for these. And you're operating like this, booming, and this is pivoting as you're moving around. And you can also kind of pinch it, and that gives you control, or you can just tighten this down if you don't want things to move around. These are awesome. Got a random top flag here from Bright Tangerine. Goes with the matte box, which I usually keep on the cart or on the camera. Next, we have some monitors. I have a lightweight 5-inch small HD, good as like a second monitor. Sometimes I'll have one facing up and then one like this. So if I'm low, I can see it, and if I go up high, I can then look up at this one. So I have that one. Then the primary monitor is this small HD 503 High Bright. This is an older one. This is probably 5 years old now. This at the time was like $3,500. You can get them a lot cheaper now. I'll put the newer updated one in the description. This is great. You can see it in direct sun, which is a must. Sometimes you can't have a sunshade there, especially on gimbal, because your monitor is always moving around and you want to be able to see it. So 503. The cables that go along with it I always keep in the same pocket. Little monitor arm for it, and I like to keep a 3/8 to 1/4-20 adapter on the arm, and I'll actually put a 3/8 to 1/4-20 reducer in here, so I can use it as normal, right? I could just thread that in somewhere, or if I was going to, say, a monitor mount like this with a through hole, I just unscrew this piece, and I put the monitor arm on, and then this serves as the nut. Right, instead of having a nut on there, then it just gets in the way. This kind of serves both purposes. Okay, then we got the little bits and bobs organizer full of hardware. We have, of course, normal camera screws. Very important thing to have are the 3/8 to 1/4-20 adapters. These little guys. If you have a camera that has 3/8 all the bottom, but you only have 1/4-20 camera screws, you can always still use them with one of these adapters. We have another monitor arm. This guy's a little longer if I need a more creative placement, or if I'm on a studio build or something, I can, get the monitor where I need it. I got 2 spring canisters for my G-Link. These are the heavy duty ones. Just have those there in case I have a big heavy build. Classic handles. These are old school free fly handles with a A1 Tools, 1A Tools mod on them that gives you a kip handle instead of little screws, which free fly used to send. These also work with the Sparrow Clamps. Pop those on there, and you can grab your Ronin like that. And it's great because now that dovetail on the top of the Ronin actually stays open. So if you're using like a magnet mount or doing handoffs, this is kind of like the best way to do that, right? Because you have your mount up here and your handles can come off of somewhere else other than having to use like a clamp on that mounting area. So now we'll go into this main middle pocket. Got some normal DJI base plates. with my rod brackets on them. You can see how that's compatible. Got a Apex Cinema plate. So this is for the Area 35. The Area 35 bottom plate slides onto this outer dovetail, and then you can adapt this to, you know, a DJI plate. So I would sandwich it like that for a quick back and forth build. Another Ignite Digi piece here. This is a side accessory mount. So this goes on the Ronin vertical tilt arms, and you can then screw in different things, or I like to do the rod mounts, and I'll put an accessory on a little rod and clamp it on there. Those are great pieces. Here's another one. This one's from Shape. This is another dovetail to Ronin plate. So you could, in theory, just slide your kind of studio build onto here, and then this slides into the Ronin base plate like that. Next we got just a general cable pouch organizer, and these are card bags. These are great bags. They come in a bunch of different sizes. And I kind of like to put everything in one bin that I know is going to go on the camera, or one bag, so that when that bag is empty, I know that all the stuff is taken care of. Now in this one, I have some more stuff, you know, so at a prep, I'll open this up, pull everything out, and then build the camera from whatever's in here. I'll go into what's in here in a second. Here's my wireless, so Ronin receivers, master wheels receivers, the inertial wheels receivers and antennas all go in here. Another Ignite accessory mount. Here's a kind of a Frankenstein rig. This is an Airy side plate, a Airy cheese plate, and then I made this little aluminum adapter piece, so to keep these both in line, because I needed as much room as I could on this side for an MDR. This is usually where I keep the monitor cables, but right now it's empty, so gotta fill that with something. Cable wise, it's kind of a rat's nest. You can have pouches for all your different things, but sometimes that ends up just taking up too much space in a case, and then you're ending up with like 5 different cases where you could kind of condense it all into one. Lexa Mini Ronin power, 2 of those, always 2. A P-tap to 4-pin, good for Sony Venice if you're going to use the DJI P-tap breakout. 2-pin to P-tap, got a bunch of those. These are all the Ronin 2 pins. So these come out of the power hub for your accessory powers. 3 of those. And we have another Ronin to P-tap. Another Ronin to 2-pin. Here's a 2-pin to 2-pin. 2-pin to 3-pin. This comes in handy with like Cine tape, which is kind of an older sonar focus unit. Another Ronin to 2-pin. P-tap to monitor, and that's for the 5-inch monitor here. It's the dummy battery replacement. And then this is kind of fun. So this is a 2-pin breakout from Ignite Digi, and I'll feed that power from a Ronin to 2-pin into one of them, and then all the other 3 become outputs, right? So I have a 2-pin to 2-pin if I want to power a Teradek or something, and then I have a 2-pin to female P-tap, and that's good if I don't want to use this big brick. I'll just use this, and if I have to power one thing on P-tap, and sometimes that's like a DIT has a special LUT box or Wi-Fi controller that he's made his own P-tap cable for, so I can do that with this. And I actually made this out of a 2-pin cable, and then you can buy these female P-taps on Amazon, also link below for that. So those are the cables. That generally takes care of most cable needs. I just power stuff, and then the rental house will have all the rest of the interfacing cables. Of course, BNC is not included. So I have a pouch here with BNC, that's in the lid organizer. I'll show you the lid organizer, right? So we have Nice clear pouches, really durable, Velcro labels that you can put on there. So those were the BNCs. Here I have the DJI power hub extensions, so you can power the Ronin and have the batteries somewhere else. I have 2 cables in there. Alexa 35 power. I do have my Ronin upgraded to do 24 volt power, and I'll do another video on that separately. But these cables, also from 1A Tools, these plug into the battery block on the back of the Ronin, and then will go into your Alexa 35 and give 24 volts. Up here, got a safety cable. You're up high on a jib or a crane or something and you want to safety it off, that'll do it. Locking carabiner for that. Got 2 Hedon motors. The LM30 right here and the LM40. This is the newer version, a little torqueier, a little slower, but a lot more torque. This one's a little faster, a little less torque. These are great, super tiny motors, so you're not adding a big Preston motor or something on your build when it's already, you got a zoom on there or something. The other great part about these motors is the cables. It's a smaller LEMO than a normal motor cable, like compared to Preston. And when you connect them, they point down, right? So you don't have stuff sticking out this way, which is great for compact builds. Got a surveillance headset in there for communications. Got my Cinemilled mount up here. So this is the Mitchell to Ronin mount from Cinemilled. Gives you a little washer plate, tie down, goes on there. You got a great dovetail for hanging or overslung. So I always have one in this case and I'll have one on the cart. So I have one to dock and then I have one for whatever we need it for. So we have some threaded rods, and then these rod clamps. So I like to do this for, say, Teradek. I'll put a Teradek on here, and then I'll mount this somewhere on the rig so I can just slide the Teradek in there, and I'm not using Velcro, which usually melts off of Teradeks anyways because they get so hot. Some spare parts up here from a variety of things. If I get a vest and I switch something out or get a upgrade kit or something. I just keep the spares up here just in case I need them. Here's another little safety cable for like a mat box. This one's, really thin, just enough to hold a mat box and a little carabiner there. And I also have an extra air bladder for my X-Spine vest. These I had special ordered. Yeah, so that's it. Of course, Trek Pack in the case. This I custom made to have everything fold in there nicely. It's a lot more compact than the padded dividers, and it just provides just as much cushion in my experience. So yeah, that's everything that's in this case. I will usually have a secondary case as well for some of the second order items that I don't use quite as often. But this, I know this will always be in my cart or it'll be near me on set. With all kind of the essentials, and sometimes there's even Velcro in here and a couple little expendables. But yeah, it's just kind of a rough overview of my kit. There's definitely more gear that I'll bring on, and in another video I'll touch on how I build the Ronin and what kind of secret stuff I have going on the actual head. But yeah, this just wanted to kind of give you guys a look into my stuff and all my gack. And hope you like the new background situation going on and the new lighting setup. Gonna try and do more videos like this one. So subscribe, smash that like button, leave a comment if you have any questions.